there, HomeFit family. In today's episode of Let's Talk Health and Home, we're going to be discussing home inspections and maybe some heavy lifting. Today's guest is Joe Laxton. He is the owner of Joe's Gym in Indianola. He's also a pro NPC men's physique athlete and a home inspector with Imperial Home Inspection. Did I get the name right, Joe?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, Joe, welcome to the show. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Likewise.
Yes. All right. So, Joe, will you tell us a little bit about what is a home inspection?
Yes. So the idea behind a home inspection is, I tell my clients, it's basically like I'm like a family practice doctor, meaning like I'm a generalist, not a specialist. You know, it's not like a family practice doctor is going to go in and do brain surgery, but they can go in and at least say, hey, there's something wrong. I'm going to, refer you off to an expert, basically. So, no, we are not expert HVAC technicians. We are not licensed plumbers, electricians, roofers, things like that. But at the same time, we can take an overview approach of an entire house, top to bottom, everything exterior, everything interior, and then say, hey, something's not lining up. I think you need to maybe call an electrician. Because the problem is a lot of people look at it and they say, if I were to have an electrician, a roofer, an HVAC tech, a plumber, a structural engineer, all these all at one time go in and look at the house that they're looking at purchasing, I mean, you're looking at probably a $3,000 bill, versus saying, oh, yep, the roof's fine. Okay, that roofer is going to charge X amount to go up there and look at it. And if there's nothing wrong with it, there's no reason for a roofer to come. So we take it, we can eliminate a lot of those costs, give more of a general overview of the property, and then, again, just like a family practice doctor is going to do, is they're going to say, hey, there's something wrong. I don't know, but we're going to refer you on to Mayo or something like that. We take a very non-invasive approach. It's not like we go in and start moving someone's furniture, and because I know, some houses are vacant, some houses are occupied. Most of the time, they're still occupied, so there are still, people living there, and it is kind of uneasy where, okay, someone's going to come, thumbing through my house and things like that. But it's like, no, we take a very, very non-invasive approach where, we aren't moving things. I mean, pretty much it's going to look exactly as if nobody came to their property, pretty much.
Joe, that's a perfect analogy. I really like that, because then you're coming in and you're helping a new homeowner determine the order or priority that they need to kind of look at things at the house that they're looking to purchase. So that's great. So then tell me, you kind of referenced that, does someone need to be there or not be there? Is it important for the homeowner to be there?
I personally think it is. And I think this is kind of up to each inspector, because sometimes they think, oh, they're going to be there, they're going to get in the way, they're going to ask questions. And but at the same time, I like, I literally just came from one, and there were a couple electrical things that, I'm trying to type it in the report, but yet they're there with me. So it's like, I can show you and explain it to you right now what I'm looking at, because it was kind of hard to explain just through typing it up. I know if they were not there, they would have read it and thought, what in the world is this guy trying to say? It's going to be a half-hour conversation later on at night when I'm with my kids or whatever, so it's like, no, I personally would much rather have somebody be there, explain it, they can see it, they know exactly what we're talking about. And I would probably say 70-80% of the time, the actual buyer is there as well too. Now, should you bring your entire family with you? I got mixed opinions on that one. Sometimes, you have the first home buyers, mom, father, in-laws, they all come, and, they mean very, very well. They obviously don't want their kids getting into something that they're going to get in over their heads, because if they have financial problems, they're probably going to call them and ask for money anyways for fixes, and so they're probably looking at it from a protection standpoint. But the problem is sometimes they can kind of distract me, where I might be looking in one room and they're down in the basement. Hey, what do you think of this? And and try and take me away from kind of what I'm doing, because every inspector, I don't care what company it is, every inspector has a routine. Start here, go here, room to room. And sometimes if you kind of get pulled away, you're going to miss, so I usually, I'll have like extra like electrical tester and just give it to the dad and say, hey, go test outlets for me and let me know if these lights don't show up, just kind of something to keep them occupied.
Yep, that makes sense. So then, you said that a lot of times both the homeowner as well as the home buyer are present for the home inspection.
Usually the homeowner is usually gone. We have noticed a lot of times since COVID shutdown and things like that, a lot of people are working from home. But most of the time, 90+% of the time, it is just the actual buyer, because it is a confidential time. It's kind of one of those things like I really don't want to do a lot of discussion with the findings while the homeowner is there, because it is a negotiation tool as well too. But we have noticed there have been some people working from home. Again, a house I came from, they had dogs and deadlines and all this stuff, so they actually were at home today. But yeah, most of the time they're usually not there.
Yep, and I was actually going to bring that question up, is that the report that you complete for the home buyer, that report belongs to them, correct?
Yes, because the buyer is purchasing it, so yes, there is a confidentiality aspect between myself and the buyer. And matter of fact, we even have to have, even with their representing agent, we have to have the clients actually initial something to allow their agents to actually have access to it, because yes, it is the buyer who is hiring us.
Okay. Yep. That's very, I think, important for people to understand, is that it is their home inspection. If they're purchasing a home, they're going to be the ones reaching out to you, and then at the end of the day, it's their report.
Yep, absolutely.
So their little priority list of things that need to be taken care of in the home that they are purchasing. So Joe, you work for Imperial Inspection Services.
Yep.
How does someone, go to Google or Facebook, or how do they find a company that they're going to mesh well with?
Yes, I personally know quite a few inspectors in the area, even working with different companies. They are good. Where Imperial comes in, that we're a little bit different than some. One thing just to know, in Iowa is a limited liability state, meaning you could literally tomorrow say, I'm a home inspector, and just be in business. There is technically no certification that is required. We all have some. There are several companies that do certifications and things like that. To work with us, yes, we actually put people through classes and and certifications, but they are not required in Iowa. Also, with the limited liability aspect, if something, let's say there's something that's major that is missed on an inspection, it's the truth is, as a home inspector, we are kind of the bottom of the rung in terms of we are the, a roofer comes out, well, the home inspector should have caught this. And HVAC, everybody throws us under the bus. Agents throw us under the bus all the time.
I understand that too.
It is. I mean, we are literally at the bottom of it. But it is good to make sure that a company is also insured. We don't have a crystal ball, but at the same time, things are missed. I've been doing this for a long time, and there are times that something comes up, or maybe something was missed on an inspection. They call us, and if we actually do have something that we messed up, we are going to make it right. A lot of other companies, again, just being that limited liability state, they might give them a portion of their inspection feedback or something like that. So it is good to kind of check on those to make sure, just in case there is an issue, that yes, is the company going to be backing it. So that is one thing to look at, but also, again, just the actual, how long has this inspector been in business? No, we are not the cheapest. No, we are not the most expensive. But the old adage, sometimes, you do get what you pay for. There are some of those that are significantly cheaper than us, which, we are not expensive by any means, but there are some that are significantly cheaper that, it's one of those, I've heard horror stories. Oh yeah, you totally missed, there's mold in the attic or something like that. Totally missed it. Oh, well, here's your inspection refund back. Now they have to get mold mitigation and things like that. Another thing that our company does is we actually do sewer scopes, we do radon testing, so we actually bundle those in to save a lot of costs. Back when I started, the only time people did sewer scopes was when it was in Beaverdale, because everybody said, oh, that was built during World War II. There was potentially Orangeburg, which, for anybody listening, Orangeburg was basically one of the worst things that you could ever make for a sewer system. It's almost like paper mache, for the entire sewer system. And most of Beaverdale, some areas in Ankeny, and kind of throughout Des Moines. If the house was built around the World War II era, that's what they built, because cast iron and things like this for the war effort, they needed all that, so they kind of skimped back here. That is not the only reason to have a sewer scope. I mean, we've seen new construction, we've seen other things, there's tree roots growing through them and things like that, where again, as a home inspector, we cannot know that. I mean, that's, that could be 30 feet out underground. We have no way of knowing that unless we have a camera. We have now, when I started, there were very few buyers ever did sewer scopes. Now there's probably 80+% of all of our inspections actually have them attached to it. Radon is one of those things too. We don't broker that out. Most companies broker it out to other companies, radon mitigation system companies, things like that. We are not plumbers. We are not, involved in the actual radon mitigation aspect. So it's not like, hey, the numbers are high. By the way, here's our company that also does the remedy for it. We don't do any of that. So we have no vested interest in having high radon numbers, basically. So
just giving someone the idea of what they need to work on.
Yep. And then there's another thing, just talking with agents, one thing, like all of our inspectors, because we have quite a few inspectors with the company, we are trained a certain way. There's some inspectors that take more of like an alarmist approach, where it's like from a real estate agent aspect, if you have the alarmist, it's like they're going to try and make mountains out of molehills. Like, oh my gosh, look at this, and oh man, I didn't know if you knew about this, and it's just it's a nerve-wracking thing to do anyways, is purchasing a house,
Right.
So a lot of times we take the non-alarmist, not that we're going to go lie, obviously I'm not saying that, but if something is a big deal, we're going to make it a big deal. But if there's something, you might see an anchored wall or something like that. Well, anchored walls and Midwest Basement Systems, and these companies are very reputable companies. It's like, if you see those things, you don't freak them out and, oh my gosh, a house is going to fall over, and that type of stuff, because there are a lot of inspectors that they almost take the approach of like they're there to save the buyer. It's like, no, we're there to help and aid the buyer, but it's not, it's like they almost look at it like it's this us versus them type of thing, and they can make things look very different, very difficult too.
It's important for everybody to work together in
Yes.
order to make that experience for the
Yes.
client, seamless.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Well, Joe, you had kind of referenced back in the day. So how long exactly have you been a home inspector?
So I actually had a background, 14 years. I was actually in financial planning. That had taken me to Knoxville, Tennessee for a while. My wife and I moved back to Iowa in 2014, and that's actually, so 2014 was when I got into the home inspection business, and then shortly after was when I actually purchased a secondary business, so being a gym. So yeah, none of those have anything to do with each other. I realize that, and everybody's always kind of like, wow, they literally know, none of that has anything to do with each other.
But it's one of the greatest things that connected us, right?
It just allows, allows me to kind of do a lot of things, so it keeps me busy.
Yep, exactly. And for me, it was kind of the premise behind the show is that, your two biggest investments in life are in your health and your home.
Absolutely.
So it's a great combination as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is funny. I do get into I've actually picked up a lot of clients on inspections for my gym business, and just, consultations and coaching and health coaching and things like that. It's kind of, it's actually opened up quite a few doors too. So.
Well, very good. And I wish your wife a lot of luck coming up
Yeah,
pretty soon. She's
2
getting ready
weeks.
to compete, so
2 weeks.
good luck to her.
So
Let her know.
she's in
rooting for her.
our kids and myself are kind of okay. How's mom's mood today?
Yep.
She's
walk
in that last
lightly.
little bit.
Yes, exactly.
yes.
Those last 2 weeks.
And I know
before.
I've put them through it, so it's probably my turn now. So.
Yep. Well, exactly. Well, way to go. You guys are both excellent coaches for each other and
Yeah.
great examples to others. So I wanted to say thank you for your time
Absolutely.
today. I appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah.
And will you share with our viewers how they can get in touch with you, whether they're looking for a home
Yes.
inspection or a workout?
So we have Imperial Home Inspections. We basically cover all of Central Iowa, even Ames, things like that. I mean, we have a Facebook page that has all basically just Imperial Home Inspections. There's our Facebook page. There's actually a link right in there to the website where actually people can actually set inspections right online.
Okay.
So they can book it online, or they can call our office number, and that's all on there, and that is provided. My gym, the best place for that is actually just follow that on Facebook as well too, just Joe's Gym Indianola. And then also there's my webpage, which is joesgymindianola.com. So we just kept that pretty simple and basic. And then I do have just my own personal Facebook, just Joe Laxton, and then my Instagram is at Joe Laxton. I just kept it all simple and easy. I used to have a bunch of, I still have gym pages. I still have Instagram. I just find myself not really posting much on them because most of my following's on my personal page anyway. So I just like, nah, it's business. It's business. I'll show some stuff in there, and then me and my kids doing something stupid half the time. So.
Okay, that's good, right? We're real people.
Yes, yes.
All right. Well, thank you again. I appreciate you stopping
Absolutely.
by.
Appreciate the time.
Until next time, stay committed to your health and home goals.